Hello everybody, Warrior Fire here, and welcome back to more Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 2. Last time, we had played through the entire prologue after giving a brief overview of the first game. And at the end of the prologue, Elise and Princess Alphen got kidnapped by Vita Clotilde. So now we have to eventually do what we can to save them. Give me a moment. Sorry about that. I know how allergies can be. Needs to interrupt a cutscene.
The scars left on Ymir were fortunately much more shallow than anyone had anticipated. Partly thanks to the fact that the number of assailants was relatively small, there were no fatalities. And the next morning, everyone worked together to clean up the damages and restore the village to its original form. However, my father was heavily wounded, and he had been in a deep sleep ever since. And while we knew his injuries weren't life-threatening, he would still need to be under careful watch for some time. Meanwhile,
You're set on leaving now, aren't you?
I am. I realized that with Dad unconscious, I should probably stay and protect Ymir in his place. Maybe you could even say that I've got a duty to do so as his son. But I've got something else that I need to do, and to me, that takes priority.
If that's your decision, Rean, then I've no intention of stopping you. Like I said when you and Elise first left here to attend Thor's and Saint Astraea, it's a mother's duty to watch over her children and wish them well as they fly the nest.
Mom, thanks.
I'll be sure to watch over your father and this village in your absence. Do all that you can to bring Princess Alphen and Elise back safely.
Will do.
Toval, Celine, please, take care of him.
You can count on me. On my honor as a member of the Bracer Guild, I'll do everything in my power to see your request through.
I'd tag along even if he said no. It's about time we went and looked for Emma.
Thanks, you two. I'll be counting on you. Okay, Mom. We'll see you soon.
Take care, and may the goddess watch over you.
Your mom's a strong woman, all right.
She really is. And I'll have to do everything I can to bring Elise and Princess Alphen back safely so that I don't let her down. No, I will bring them back.
Guess we can skip the pep talk if you're that fired up, huh? Make sure to try and repay all that support she's given you the next time you swing by here.
Speaking of next time, it's time to go. We're stopping by the valley before leaving, aren't we?
Yeah, I want to see how Valamar's doing. Once we're ready, let's head out.
Use the quick travel menu to warp instantly to any available location. Use the quick travel, just press square and select the destination. Something can generally just be done in towns. First stop is the shop. Yeah, let's go ahead and skip travel there. First up, gonna check some of this stuff in here. Nothing too big. Also gotta say, do you like Reen's new outfit here? Right. Stop in here first. Hey there, you two. I'm finally ready for business again. So if there's anything you need before you head off, just let me know. Perfect timing. Alright, Reen. Let me give you the rundown on how upgrading slots works. Upgrading slots? I didn't know you could do that. Oh, that's because upgrading Narcus units' ordnance only recently became possible. For starters, take this. See, information quartz. Isn't this a rare quartz? Uh-huh. As you know, rare quartz give you more bang for your mira than your garden variety quartz. The problem was, for now, our Argus ordnance weren't capable of drawing out their full potential. Really. Yep. Getting your hands on fancy quartz, but not getting the most out of them's kind of a waste, don't you think? Fortunately, though, now you can. And that's what upgrading slots is all about. The Reinford company developed the tech and showed factories all across the country how to do it. Well, now that you've heard the introductory spiel, the next step is to try it out for yourself, yeah? You're gonna need some setup first, though, so here you go, just for you. And receive another 27th of every element. Can I really just have all these? All yours. I'm confident you'll make the most of them. Let's just call it an investment in one kid's very bright future. Sure, we can go with that. Well then, just let me know if you ever need to modify your ornament, or if you need to customize any weapons for that matter. Oh, and one more thing. My wife has said she wanted to talk to you about something. Could you go speak with her before you leave? Oh, she did. Of course, Leo. Right. Now synthesize the quartz at Orbital factories. Use Sabbath to create new quartz. Pretty simple, actually. Just need the right amount of Sabbath. Now for something actually new. Now upgrade ornament slots at Orbital factories. Use Sabbath to upgrade each of an ornament's 8 slots between 3 levels. Level 0, Level 1, and Level 2. Upgrading a slot to Level 1 lets you set rare quartz in it, while upgrading one to Level 2 lets you set super rare quartz. In addition, upgrading slots also increases your max EP. Ooh, that's definitely going to be very helpful. Upgrading slots, modify exchange, slot, it requires Sabbath, the EP plus indicator shows how much max EP will increase by upgrading a particular slot. Right. And customize weapons at Orbital factories. This is the same as last time. While you can exchange 7th masses for Mira using the exchange option in shops, regular elemental 7th can only be converted to Mira in Orbital factories. Unlike 7th masses, which can only be used to convert to Mira, elemental 7th has many other uses. Yes, it does. Get one new master quartz here, the Megalith. Increases gain experience. Right. All that new material, the new materials have, is actually going to be easy to get weapons upgraded. Just need the proper weapons. Also get new gear. First up, exchange the 7 passes. Get the new weapons. Upgrade one's equipment. Oh, only get one spike gear for now. But just go and sell the old weapons and the old armor. Now I'll get that other right here for Toval. Then customize. Rockyo to Hyoku Jutsu. And Twister to Cyclone. Exchange. Duration gives skill yard analyze the strength plus 5. Right, go to upgrade this slot first. Now, ew. Wrong element. Get all of the green's slots upgraded to level 1. Enough that I believe to upgrade all to level 2. But overall, I think good for now. Yeah, it's Kyria and airstrike from his master quartz. For the covers. And give it the gold cover. Use this one for him in the last game, so let's go and use the one with his new design. Actually, with something other than the default for Arena. Especially since not really involved with Thor's at the moment. Let's see. Hit plus 1 would be good. Cast 1 would also be helpful. Let's see. is another good art to have. Go get one of those. Get a seal. And passion is also a good one. Having an AoE art for Reen would also be good. And hit one as well. And impede one. For both them. Can't have more than one of the same type of quartz. Alright, give 12 volt breath. Need one there. The golden spear there. Also give him impassion. Alright. I think this will be a good setup. I'll give Toval attack 1. Yeah, and I'll set there. Oh, look who it is. Good morning. Is everyone here alright? You know, after what happened yesterday. Oh, we're all fine. He suffered some minor burns from the fire, but nothing major. Not everybody was as fortunate, though, which is why we want to do all we can to help the others. And to that end, we're starting a brand new service here. Trading. Trading? That's right, the village wasn't too badly damaged, but all the repairs are still going to be costly. So as you can imagine, everyone's a bit short on Mira. That's where trading comes in, because it doesn't cost money. We've been giving people small goods into Mira for unneeded items for a while now. This is just an extension of that, really. That does sound like a pretty good idea. It's a genius, if I do say so myself. And of course, you're both welcome to make use of this service as well. Right, and trading. Exchange certain items for rarer or more valuable ones. So let's look at that. Dirt. New material. And to ground bait. Get some stronger quartz. Get some equipment as well. Sell accessories. As well as healing items. And smoke-rated battle scope, as well as ingredients for cooking. A couple of books. I'm gonna go ahead and get these. Yeah, that's everything. So this is how read looks bot. Oh, just going to go and let those collect. Now that we've got everything done. Out to the valley. Travel to the end of the valley, the story will advance, and it won't be possible to return to Ymir for a while. Fortunately, we're all done in Ymir, so we're good.
Well, here we are.
Finally getting used to walking on this snow. The Divine Knight's exactly how you left him, too.
Thankfully. It wouldn't have surprised me if Vita had tried messing with him, but he looks just fine.
Speaking of, do you have any idea what she might be after? She knows Valimar is here, but as far as I can tell, she's not interested in stealing or destroying him. For now, anyway.
It's kind of weird when you think about it. He's probably one of the biggest threats to the Noble Alliance.
I've got no idea what goes on in that head of hers. But I'd say that there's a good chance her and the Noble Alliance's goals aren't as perfectly aligned as you might think. And if that's true, whatever she's doing is probably for the benefit of Ouroboros.
You said the Anguis are the top brass in the society, right, Toval? If she's that high up, I wouldn't be surprised if that is the case.
Well, whatever she wants. Can't see it being good news for us. They've been trouble all over the continent in the past. I dread to think what they've got in store here in Erebonia.
But, well, at least we've got time to stop them. Things could have ended a lot worse yesterday if not for Valamar's help. I can't even imagine the ways Ymir would have suffered if we didn't stop that magic knight. I'll need to thank him when he wakes up.
That will not be necessary.
Whoa!
Valamar?
I suppose one night was enough for you to recover a little bit of your mana. Not enough to freely move around, though, I'm guessing.
Correct. Further rest will be required in order to return to full capacity.
Okay, get as much rest as you need. We'll call on you if anything else happens, okay?
Acknowledged.
Wow, easy enough to communicate with him, huh? Then again, I think that one Gordius-class robot could technically talk too.
Is something wrong?
Oh, no, just thinking.
I sense a change has occurred in your group since I last entered a state of inactivity, confirming the absence of the waveform of one member, assuming that some form of irregularity has occurred.
Wait, is he talking about Elise?
Maybe. He appears to be aware of what's going on around him to an extent.
Valamar, we're gonna be leaving this region for a while. My sister and the princess have been taken away, and we're going to rescue them. Plus, I need to find and reunite with my classmates too. So take this chance to recover as long as you need, okay?
Classmates, I assume that this word refers to those who have aided you in overcoming the trial to become an Awakener.
Yeah, is that a big deal or something?
Valamar?
Confirming waveform locations. Excluding the Awakener of Azure, the remainder appear to be located in 3 different regions. All vital signs are normal.
Hold up a sec.
Does that mean you know where all of them are?
I see now. Do you remember when you overcame the trial to become Valamar's Awakener? Well, obviously, you weren't alone when you did that. You were with the rest of Class 7. And it sounds like, thanks to them being there with you, they've all been recognized as secondary contractors at the same time.
Oh! So that's how... Please, Valamar, tell me where they all are.
Detecting approximate locations using geographical database. 3 are to the southeast in the Celtic region. 3 are to the northeast in the Nord region. 3 are to the south-southeast in the Legrand region. This includes a list of locations of all 9 secondary contractors. All vital signs appear normal.
Yep, that's all of them. That confirms my theory.
They're all okay. They're really okay.
I'm really happy for you. Though I sure wasn't expecting us to get confirmation of their safety quite like this.
Look at you crying away. And you call yourself a man.
No need for toxic masculinity around here.
Quiet, you.
Oh, come on. You can't pretend you aren't breathing a sigh of relief right along with us. This means Emma's safe too, you know.
Oh, I, for one, am definitely breathing a sigh of relief. Still, all 3 locations are a ways away from Ymir.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure the Noble Alliance has got control of key locations all over the country on top of it all. On the plus side, they're all on the eastern side of the Empire, but getting to them ain't exactly gonna be a walk in Motter Park.
Oh, hey, wait! Valamar, can't you use the spirit path?
Affirmative. Doing so would consume all of my current mana, however.
Spirit Path.
What's that?
It's the name given to a really old means of travel. Using it will allow us to travel instantly to even distant locations.
Seriously?
How?
You know how there are still remnants of animism all across Erebonia, right? Well, places like that are connected to one another by spirit veins. Septium veins, in other words. And Valimar has the ability to use those veins to travel.
Yeah, that's kind of going over my head. But basically, you're saying it's like an invisible road that connects places like Legram to here or wherever else?
Exactly. The spirit path can only be used between areas where animism had a hold, though. The other drawback is that taking it will use up what little mana Valimar's been able to recover. Which means that until he's recovered enough to travel again, we won't be able to come back here.
I see. Personally, I can't think of any better options. I think we should give it a try. What do you think?
It sounds worth a shot to me. Now all that's left is to pick which place we should head to first.
Right. Celtic, the Nord Highlands, or Legram. I think Celtic is the closest to here. Maybe we should try heading there first?
Celtic, huh? I'm down. Should make a good test run for this whole spirit path deal.
All decided? Come with me then.
Right. The monument would have ties to animism.
This seems like a good enough spot. Are you both ready?
Ready.
Anytime.
Valimar, open the spirit path! Our destination is Celtic. I'll lend you all the support I can, too.
Acknowledged. Activating Spirit Path.
Whoa, hey, the ground's glowing.
What's this?
All right, here we go.
This is the spirit path? It's like nothing I've ever felt. It's both cool and warm at the same time. And at the end of this path, some of my classmates are waiting for me. Which ones, I don't know. But I'll find every single one of them. I'll bring us all back together, no matter what it takes.
Act 1. Ashen Chronicles. Did we make it? Oh, hey, I know this place. It's Linaria Nature Park. Ah, so that's where we are. I knew this place looked kind of familiar. You must be in the deepest part of the forest, too. If I recall correctly, the nature park's about northwest of Celtic, right? Sounds right to me, but it's been a while since I was last here. You were sent here for our very first field study. I'd forgotten how many stone monuments there were here. They're vestiges of the old animism. Anyway, nice to see we made it here safely enough. It's a nice hiding spot for Valimar, too. I doubt anyone will follow him here. I'll find him here. Valimar? Getting us here must have used up his remaining mana. My guess is it'll take 2 or 3 more days before he wakes up again. In other words, we're stuck here. As far as I'm aware, this region's under the complete control of the Alliance, too. We're gonna need to stay alert. Yeah, well, no time like the present, as they say. You should start looking for any kinds of clues relating to my classmates. Got it. Let's make our way out of the park, then. You notice something around here? Oh, nothing. Really worried about. That's gonna happen quite a bit. This feels somehow familiar. You've noticed it too. The higher elements seem to be present here. Like in the old schoolhouse. That's time, space, and mirage, right? The 3 that aren't usually active? What do you think's causing that to happen? Who knows? Something's clearly out of balance, but beyond that, I couldn't say. Monsters are significantly more dangerous compared to before, too. I can sense it. We're going to need to tread lightly. Gotcha. Some areas where the higher elements, time, space, and mirage are present. Monsters in such areas can be strong or weak to these elements, and their time, space, and mirage parts are amplified. Or a number of special attack bonuses, which demand caution are present in battle. Attacks can cause a random status, a standard immunity. And attacks that guaranteed death blow, unless the target is immune. Attacks that cause the target to vanish. Then CP up 100, which, as the name says, increases CP by 100. That CP loss will cause CP to be completely erased. Hello, softening ointment. There, that's better. That's an interesting light for an ornament charging station. Sure doesn't look like your everyday type. But hey, a station is a station. I'm guessing it'll still be a good point to return to if we're in need of a break. And this is a special orbit charging station. Inspecting it will allow you to customize weapons and synthesize quartz in addition to recovering HP and EV.
Enemy sighted! Let's take him out! Here I go! There!
Cutter first.
Sure thing.
With how quickly Toval can actually cast, gets to steal the death.
Here you go.
No, I don't think it works for art. Maybe it did.
Well, that's that.
Hard to say. Right. Let's go right. So, starting to the left. That's someone to 7.
Oh, chest. I wonder what's inside. Damn it. We're all screwed up.
Chain battle. Finishing an encounter with the one or multiple enemies close by will result in you fighting one battle immediately after another up to 3 consecutive times. In addition to granting their own tactical bonus, chain battles accumulate experience points only at the end of the last encounter and will result in netting more than you would otherwise receive.
Here I go!
Let's go link up.
There! Now's our
Good.
chance! Gotcha!
I'm up.
And Toval's got max CP. This hand.
Activate. Here you go.
You're off. Good, got them both.
Here come more!
I'm up.
Hand can hit all 4 with the
Here you go.
golden sphere.
Here I go!
And then Gale to
Second
hopefully
form.
finish them all off. Nice.
Okay, it's safe for now.
And Green stopped just short of the level up.
Oh, chest. I wonder what's inside.
The stone brooch. That prevents petrify. Basically just a less peaceful, soft as stole. Now, head this way. Another branching path that both lead to the same area.
Bring it on!
What?
My turn.
Yeah, get the advantage, but well,
I'm up!
right. Stick with the golden spear.
Here you go!
Let's move!
Good. And
that.
overkill.
Let's keep moving.
And green once again, magic pixel to right. This is this is Mirage 7th. 107th masses. That'll be good for it. Getting money back. Tear bomb.
Enemy sighted! Let's take him out! Here I go!
Green's got a crit. Going for it. Scale.
Form. Gale! Now! Now's our chance!
Understood!
Nice.
You nailed it, Reen!
Thanks, but that was all you.
Hey, there's that level up.
Great!
Right. Yeah. And down here. Next section. Normal chest. Terra bomb. Very nice. And a normal tear bomb.
We aren't planning to take that monster on, are we?
Watch out! This is a tough one!
Still
My turn!
getting unlucky with the. The advantage counters.
Now! Gotcha!
I'm up!
Here.
Here you go!
Take them down. Nope. Only the one.
Too slow! Let's move! Now's our chance! Gotcha!
Ready to go!
My turn!
There we go.
Okay, it's safe for now.
Hey, level up for Toval.
Looking good!
full HP recovery.
Oh, a chest. I wonder what's inside.
A citrus bottle. Prevents faint. Don't actually have anything for that. Bring the luminous glasses. Then a 12-volt marble bracelet. Using arts more, so it's going to be good for him. Also prevents mute, so he can actually keep using arts.
Is that a stream?
This way should lead to the exit.
Right, first going to branch off to this side. It leads to the backtracking.
Damn it! We're all screwed
I
up.
messed up there.
Sure thing.
Wake up. And a free golden sphere.
My turn.
Wait, you're going to be first, so...
Let's move.
It'll move off.
Ready to go.
My turn.
The autumn leaf cutter for it.
There. Now.
It missed the one target
Sure
that
thing.
mattered.
Sorry, that's it for you.
Yeah, actually pick up that eye drop.
Oh, a chest. I wonder what's inside. Right, let's get started. Ready to go. Disactivate.
One enemy that
Here I go.
can actually get it hit on. Good. You can hit them all with the gale.
Second form. Gale.
Good. Triple kill.
I'm up.
And air strike. Like,
And more.
Let's move.
you
Now.
first.
Now's our chance.
Leave it to me! Sure thing.
And deals a death blow.
Phew. Well, that's that.
And Rain got close to a level up.
Oh, chest. I wonder what's inside.
Oh, I know. Monsters. So, first things first. Getting him some heals. Alright, let's
wrap this up.
fight in.
Here I go.
Right,
I'm up.
or keep waiting on them.
Here you go.
That, it. Good. Get him with the rebellion.
Stop pulling back. This is gonna hurt. Rebellion storm.
I
go.
burn.
Now's our chance.
Gotcha. You nailed it, Reem.
Thanks, but that was all you.
And just short of the level up for Reen. Master Quartz Scepter. Curia and Aqua Bleed to start, as well as a 30% chance to obtain Sepith from attacks and crafts. Good with what have for now, but having other master quartz will absolutely be helpful.
Now's our chance. Let's get him. Here I
Well,
go.
single advantage at least.
Now's our chance.
And poison.
Sure thing.
Yeah, I'll do some Gear Strike.
Phew. Well, that's that.
Green's still just shy of that level up. Anyway, now we can head here. Hey, another orbit charging station.
We aren't planning to take that monster on, are we?
Watch out! This is a tough
Nope.
one!
Sure
No,
thing.
not getting the advantages. Yeah, double strike.
Here I go! Second
Hit them all with the
Damn!
kill.
Yeah! Ready to go.
Golden Sphere.
Here you go.
Here I go!
That's
Ready to go.
problem. Golden Sphere should take them out. Oh, only one.
Ready to go. Activate.
Air strike.
Here you go.
Yep.
Time to stop holding back.
That's what's the best option you have here.
This is gonna hurt. Rebellion storm. Well, that's that.
Hey, there's that level up arena.
Great!
Good. HP is back to full.
Enemy sighted! Let's take him out!
Ready to go.
Surprised this
Activate.
how
Let's move!
how it's been actually get the advantages against monsters here.
Now's our chance!
Nice.
Gotcha. Here you go.
And missed it.
Sorry, that's it for you. Oh,
Hey,
chest. I
fancy
wonder what's
chest.
inside.
HP1. That gives HP boost. Gonna hold off on it here. Charge 1 and Tear Bomb. Nice items to have. There we go.
Now's our chance. Let's get him.
And there's only the
Here we
one.
go. Now, gotcha. You're done.
You nailed it, Reen.
Thanks, but that was all you.
Right, now this path. Normal chest. Yeah, 100 of each type of setup. Always good seeing those. Right, nothing out there.
We aren't planning to take that monster on, are we?
Yes, we are, Toval.
Watch out. This is a tough one. My turn.
Right, first.
Ready to go.
Hey,
Disactivate.
golden Spear on the other two. Blinded at the 42. Very good. And
Too slow. Now! Now's your chance!
Leave it to me. I'm up.
down. Yes, Bark Arrow.
My turn.
No longer blind. Are poisoned.
Ready to go.
My turn.
That's the
That's
kill.
that. Let's keep moving.
Hey, fire seven. Another one of these ones. I'll start by upgrading Reen's fire and the time slots. Those ones for Toval as well. And yeah, I'd say all good there. Nothing customized, so it's time to go and rest up. Roaring the Haboon, Renoja. That thing's huge. It must be the Sparks ruler. We actually fought it during our field study the last time we were here. It doesn't look too happy about us stepping on its turf. What's going on? Arcus units resonating? Feels like there's some immense power welling up from inside me, too. Huh. Seems like you're the cause, Reen. What do you mean by that? We can worry about it later. Let's take this thing down. Roger.
Stay sharp, guys.
And Reen and Toval can now use overdrive when linked with one another. Ooh, that's new. About overdrive. Overdrive is an ability triggered during battle that boosts the power of Arcus combat links. It restores HP, EP, and CP, and clears all status abnormalities for both the character who activates it and their partner. While in this state, they can act uninterrupted for 3 consecutive turns, and all attacks and crafts performed will unbalance enemies. In addition, all arts can be cast instantly. Drive fighting battles fills up the overdrive icon. Once full, can activate overdrive. Press right on the D-pad, then press the X button to activate. Activating the overdrive restores 30% of both partners' HP and EP, 30 CP, and cures all status ailments. Allows back 3 turns uninterrupted, and attacks guaranteed to unbalanced foes and cast arts instantly.
My turn.
Yeah, have to hold it. Right, I just press it.
Here goes! Overdrive!
You'll never defeat us, Greninja. Not when we shift into maximum overdrive.
Now! Gotcha! Ready to go. Now!
Got you! Let's move.
Ha! Now! Gotcha! Sure thing.
And now everything's back to normal.
Activate.
Strike.
My turn.
And Green with the firebolt.
Here you go.
Yeah!
Sure thing.
Here I go.
Let's go for a full attack here.
Sure thing.
Straight.
I'm sorry, everyone.
And Green's down.
Ready to go.
It's good to have it.
Here you go.
This,
Thanks.
crap.
Activate.
My turn.
You can go for Tier on Toval.
Here you go.
Yeah!
Cheers.
And Toval can
Time to stop holding back.
Bit of an issue.
Yeah! I'm up! Let's move!
It's delayed in that. And that.
I'm up!
Get
My turn.
Closer.
Ha! I'm up!
So we'll go ahead and pass the drive.
Here I go. Sit.
And for it.
Guess I pushed my luck.
Here I go.
Another celestial bomb.
Cheers. Here I go.
Link.
Now.
Good.
Now's your chance.
Understood.
Go for it. Attack, but rush is more worth it here.
Ready to go. They're off balance.
Got you. Here I go.
Ha! I'm up.
Okay, Green can use Hesscraft. Wait,
Activate.
Here I go. Thanks. My turn.
and it's gonna have to just go for hard here.
Sure thing. Focus
Another
activate.
chrono drive.
My turn.
Ha! Sure thing.
Close to taking you down.
Now.
This
Got
should
you.
do it. Good.
You nailed it, Reem.
Thanks. That was all you.
Double experience gain. Phew. Well, we're alive. I'm surprised that we managed it with just the two of us. Now we just need to figure out what happened back there. Celine, you said I was the cause, didn't you? That's right. I could feel the link between the two of you becoming stronger. And the power that made it possible came from you, Reen, because you're an awakener. That doesn't really explain anything. Sorry, but that's all I know. I'm just telling you what I felt. I've got no idea what caused it to happen. No, this could be a huge advantage for us if we can learn to master it. No arguments here. Oh, practice makes perfect, so let's try to use it as much as possible. And about Overdrive. Overdrive provides many advantages during battle, making it a powerful asset if used correctly. Once activated, Both members recover 30% of their HP and EP, 30 of their CP, and are cured of all abnormalities. Oh, 3 continuous turns are provided upon activation, in which all attacks and crafts are guaranteed to unbalanced enemies. All arts will be cast instantly. Yep. As already explained, how to charge the overdrive gauge. The overdrive gauge charges through dealing damage to enemies and providing support to party members. The gauge will also charge based on your tactical bonus after battle. The higher the bonus, the more it will charge up. While preserving overdrive uses is a valid strategy, utilizing it often is the key to swift, effective combat. Now, time to go and rest up after that, because, yeah, we took a beating. Exit out onto the highway. Phew, glad to be out of there. The higher elements don't seem to be active outside the park from what I can tell. Although, something still feels off. Feels like something is starting to happen here in Erebonia. As to what, you got me. Just saying something doesn't make it sound very good. Let's put that off for now and start with gathering some info. How much control the Noble Alliance has in this area, and all that fun stuff. It'd be ideal if we could find out at least that before we get to town. Oh, I know who we could ask. There should be a farmhouse nearby. Want to start by asking there? Don't see why we shouldn't. Just make sure that you don't end up drawing suspicion. Naturally, I'll be keeping my mouth shut as long as we're in front of people. Got it. I'll show you to the way. And it's, fairly close by. Naturally, be smashing any boxes, barrels come across along the way, as those can have good items in them. And right here's the farmhouse in question. Hey there, who might you two be? Don't think I've ever seen you around these parts. Anything we can help you with? You actually look awfully familiar, young man. Have we met? Actually, we're traveling merchants, you see. We just got here too, so we don't exactly have the best grasp on the current situation. That's why we'd appreciate it if we could get some info from the locals. Traveling merchants, huh? Must be rough for you guys. Oh, we'd be glad to give you a rundown of things if that's what you're looking for. Wow, he really is resourceful. Thank you. Rian inquired about the state of things in Celtic over the past month. To be honest, it hasn't been too crazy here. In fact, you could say it's been almost peaceful. There have been no major battles or anything. Yeah, mainly because the Noble Alliance is dominating. Granted, Celtic itself has been pretty tense since everything started. I see. How about your farm then? Safe to assume that things haven't changed much on that front? Not exactly. With all the restrictions on the railroad network, among other things, we've been feeling the effects of the war. The Grand Market's taken a hit thanks to those train restrictions, too, which only makes our situation worse. Yeah, almost everything we produce here gets sold off at the market. Doesn't help that the provincial army's been requisitioning goods from people lately, too. Here's hoping things go back to normal soon. You and me both. You're preaching to the choir. This might sound like an odd question, but you haven't seen any students around this area recently, have you? Students? Can't say we have. Why do you ask? Oh, no real reason, just curious. We'll get out of your hair now. Thanks for the update. Should make our lives a bit easier. No worries. Just watch your backs if you're gonna be here for a while. Thanks for the warning. We'll keep our eyes open. It was probably a stretch to hope for any leads around here. Well, we did get some info on what the Noble Alliance is up to. But yeah, it's just to check out Celtic for now. I don't expect that we'll run into much trouble while we're there. You know the way, right? Yeah, south down the highway. And that takes care of things pretty nicely there. And there's a chest.
Let's get him! My turn!
Green can leave the evil crow alone for now.
Sure thing.
Definitely weak to wind. Or these
Activate.
Strike on the evil crow. Nice.
I'm up. Sorry, that's it for you.
About halfway charged the overdrive gauge. And no level ups. Oh well. Someone said it.
Oh, a chest. I wonder what's inside.
White glasses. Prevent blind. No worse than the luminous glasses because these give a buff to crit chances.
Now's our chance. Let's get him! Let's move.
Very weak to wind.
Marcus, activate.
Analyze.
Ready to go.
Marcus, activate.
Get the info notebook.
Yeah!
I'm up. Phew. Well, that's that.
Yeah. Yeah, Magic Pixel is strong. Along with this game. 302 for Ri and 133 for Toval. Oh, and another chest over here. Missed it earlier. It'll only take a few hours on foot from here. You wondering how things are over in Trista? If it's bugging you that much, you could always go take a look. Do we have the time? Not for detours. Heldek's right over there. I know we're short on time, but still. It's obvious that it's on your mind. And trust me, people work better if they've got less on their mind to weigh them down. Or sure you don't mind? All I want to do is get a rough idea of how things are in the region. That shouldn't take up too much time, I think. I'm up for it. Let's get this over with. Right. To head towards right. Start heading toward Trista. Nothing of interest on this path, so just head straight there.
Now's our chance. Let's get him!
Only the one.
Here I go.
Sure thing.
Still
Let's
don't
move.
quite have all the info for you.
That's that. Let's keep moving.
Getting close to filling up the overdrive gauge. And Reen gets magic pixeled. Total got his level up.
Looking good.
How much of it? 13. Well, at least it's not 1.
Let's wrap this up. Ready to go.
Oh yeah, Total
Kiss activate.
quick analyze.
Here you go.
My turn.
Yeah, Arc Slash.
There.
Too slow.
Yeah, both missed.
Ready to go.
Come on, Toval.
Here I go.
Keep up. Green, come on.
Ready to go.
There we go.
Got you. Let's move. Too slow.
Ready to go.
He should.
Here I go.
Toval. Oh, you can
Okay,
actually hit
it's safe for now.
things. Right. Overdrive's maxed out. And Reen finally got his level up.
Great.
Yeah. A true autumn leaf cutter. That just an upgrade. Yes. Right, sorry about that. Had to help
Oh,
with,
chest. I
something.
wonder what's inside.
Insulating tape, water sabbath, scenery. Guess you could say. Shield 2 in the chest. Shield 2. 50 to arts defense. 15% magic evasion.
Now's our chance. Let's get him!
Right?
Sure thing.
Hold off on the overdrive.
Let's move!
Flies off for a notebook.
Here you go. Sure thing. Now,
Got you!
Could have gone for the rush, but
down
well.
you go.
Let's move!
Sure thing.
And free airstrike.
Phew. Well, that's that.
Now, head to the east Trista Highway.
Let's get him.
Oh, got the single
Sure thing.
advantage. Right. Analyze.
Let's move!
Loads upon death to aid its allies.
Now!
Gotcha.
You're done!
And not get the analyze off. Oh well.
You nailed it, Reen.
Thanks, but that was all you. Sit!
U material. I believe it's still currently maxed out on.
It's my first time on this highway, actually.
Oh, yeah? This area wasn't part of your field study, I'm guessing.
Hey,
Sit! Sit! Ha! Enemy Enemy sighted! Let's take him out!
I'm up!
The palm.
Let's move! Now!
Gotcha!
They're pretty weak.
Here you go!
Dastardly fluff.
Sure thing.
Here I go!
Barely survived.
Sure thing.
Now it's
Sorry.
finished.
That's it for you.
Hey. Toval's wing master quartz leveled up. That breath for that's a actually it remove that quartz because it's now redundant. 60% chance of betting normal stat down. Don't have any other wind words, so gonna have to have that slot empty. More boxes.
Now's our chance! Let's
Triple
get him!
advantage.
Ready to go.
Activate. Likes you.
My turn!
Attack at you.
Now's our
Good
chance!
crit.
You're done!
Here you go. Ready to go.
Here I go!
Come on, Green.
I'm up.
My turn!
There we go.
Okay, it's safe for now.
Another box. With the nothing in it. Hey, a chest. You need a heart.
Let's get him. I'm up.
Yep. Right. Didn't get the chance to analyze them.
Here I go! Now!
Gotcha. Here you go. Ready to go.
Let's move! Now's our chance!
That'll finish him off.
You nailed it, Reem.
Thanks, but that was all you.
I bet there's something up here. Yep.
Oh, I could probably fish here.
Huh. Just in the fishing spot. Yeah, might as well. Uh, you fish a fighter.
Caught one.
Yeah, saying it. Kinda. This
Caught
another fighter. Yep. And oh, done fishing there.
Oh, a chest. I wonder what's inside. Ha!
Yeah, Earth lands.
Sit! Ha! Sit! Ha! 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 Sit! Ha! Let's wrap this up. I'm up. Activate.
Spark arrow.
Let's
on
move.
Those two. And
This
wave on
activate.
the other one.
Huh.
It's got burned.
I'm up.
0 hearts. Golden spear.
Sorry, that's it for you.
Yeah, gonna take a lot to get next level up one of the forts. Just chests, boxes. I can't believe what I'm seeing. It looks like they've set up a checkpoint. All those armored cars, and they've even got a few soldats on watch too. And I can't believe they've got those things stationed at checkpoints. Looks like Trista's being really heavily guarded. This route does lead to the capital as well, so that's no surprise. Oh, there's no getting through here, unfortunately. Sorry, this was a waste of time. Not at all. Thanks to you, I can get back to focusing on the task at hand. Seriously, thanks. Hey, no need to thank me. To be honest, I was just hoping I'd be able to get in contact with old Mick. Oh? Didn't realize you guys were that close. Celine was always around him when he was breaking out sardines. Maybe. I've known him for years. I figured talking to him would be the fastest way to figure out what's going on elsewhere in the country. Oh well. Well, we're not going to achieve much hanging around here. We'd best get out of here before they spot us. Yeah, we're not too far from Celtic. going to be able to get anything else up there. Anything out that way is inaccessible as well. So, might simply back towards Caldec. Let's speed things up a little bit too.
Let's get him! I'm up!
Activate those two.
My turn.
Green, go after the other one. Nice.
Sure thing.
My turn. That's that. Let's keep moving.
Keep things simple here.
Now's our chance. Let's get him.
No,
Ready to go.
double. Analyze.
My turn.
Here you go.
Information for the notebook. Weak to Earth.
I'm up. Now.
Got you. My turn.
Ready to go.
Hey. Free Spark Arrow. And got him.
Sorry, that's it for you. Let's get him.
Let's move.
Okay, do have them analyzed. Very weak to wind.
I'm up.
Can't get both the Spark Arrow.
Marcus, activate. Here you go. Ready to go.
But
Here you go.
slower and more costly.
Phew. Well, that's that.
Double airstrike still works. Right, and now head into Celtic. Getting here much faster than did in the first game. That's because of average string length last time. It's been a while since the last time I was in Celtic. Those farmers said things were tense here, but I was expecting worse. Yeah, it doesn't actually seem that bad, even with the odd armored car here and there. That's probably evidence of how much the war's going in the Alliance's favor. So they've let that get to their heads, have they? He should start asking around to see if we can get anything out of the townsfolk. Here's hoping someone knows something about the rest of the Class 7. Right. Oh, but one warning. I'm sure you don't need me to tell you this, but you're pretty high on the Noble Alliance's wanted list. Even if you're in plain clothing, try not to stand out too much. Otherwise, it's all over. Understood. Okay, let's get to work. It happened. Any places you can stop in at? Really can't be bothered anything now. Especially at the Grand Market as it is. Is that the Thor's uniform? Huh? Pretty sure I know you somewhere. Black hair, diligent attitude. Reen, is that you? Becky. You know her? Yeah, we're in the same year at Thor's. How do you wind up here, Becky? Well, hold up. You're the one that should be explaining yourself first. You can tell me all about Blondie while you're at it. Okay, maybe we should all calm down a little first. And Reen gave her a brief explanation of how he'd come to visit Kelduk. Well, I was daft for thinking I'd understand any of that. So basically, you're looking for the rest of Class 7? Oh, that's the gist of it. You managed to make it from Thor's to here on your own, right? Color me impressed. Truth is, Hugo secured an escape route for us. That's how I managed to make it all the way here. He was the student working at Kleiston, if I remember correctly. Helped, huh? Does that mean he's not here now? Got no idea what happened to him after that. Maybe Am chose the worst time to act all cool. It might be a little insensitive of me to ask right now, but do you have any info about Thor's or the other students? Anything on Class 7 in particular would be a huge help. The girl I escaped with is over at the church. Other than that, I've got Hee-Haw. The Provincial Army don't really care much about us normal students either. Really? Aye. It was questioned a fair bit when I first got here, but after that they just let me do whatever. It's probably enough for them just knowing they can keep an eye on you. The second you start acting suspicious, they can swoop in and toss you in the slammer. And they probably see Class 7 as the most suspicious of all. Yeah, I know we'll have to sleep with the one eye open around here. Well, thanks for letting us know, Becky. Just try to lay low for now. Aye, that was the plan. Not like I've got the motivation to do anything when the Grand Market's in this sad state. Right. And get on out of there. Skip travel to either highway. Not that matters since just came from the west highway, and there's really no point in out to east highway. definitely don't want to go that way. Right. Head in to here first. Everyone's yammering on about this war impacting their sales and whatnot, whining about how they're gonna quit. But then there's this little blacksmith shop out in the sticks. We never had many customers even during the best of times. That's why we're staying right here. And I have the same things back in Ymir. Absolutely getting a set of masses exchanged. Just EP charge 1, 2. Don't get a mega left. Late breaker for Toval. What would be a good quartz here to get for Rihanna? Head action 1. Right. Ah. Out of there. Stop in at the inn. Wait a minute, aren't you one of Sarah's students? What are you doing here? With the Toval, no less. Hello, ma'am. I see things haven't changed much here. Hey, Margot, you're looking well. Last time we saw each other was when I came for that request. Yeah, been a while. Toval aside, shouldn't you be in hiding, young man? The provincial army was searching for you not that long ago. No one seems to suspect us yet, so we should be fine for now. I doubt they'll notice us, so long as we don't do anything too crazy. Well, if you say so. It's a relief to know you're okay. Are you going to be staying here? We're actually not sure what we'll be doing for now. More important than where we're staying, there's something we'd like to ask you. And Green explained why he and Toval came to Celtic. So you're searching for your classmates? Based on what we know, they're somewhere around here. You wouldn't have to have any leads at all, would you? Sorry, can't say that I do. You barely get anyone new coming in as it is, thanks to all the train restrictions. And I would only be able to recognize the students who came with you last time. That's true. Oh, just knowing they aren't staying here is a big help. By the way, we had heard that things were pretty tense here, but Seems to be relatively peaceful from what I can tell. Well, there hasn't been any direct effect on the town itself. Rumor has it there's fighting going on over near the eastern border though. Over by Gorelia Fortress? Yes, seems like the Imperial Army's holding their line of defense over there. A solid one at that, too. They say the Provincial Army is struggling to break through it. The Twin Dragons Bridge is over that way, too, actually. They must be fighting with the troops there. Yes, well, that's why a lot of us are worried. If they're fighting that close by, then who knows when Galdic will get caught up in it. That is an unfortunate possibility. The market manager's been doing what he can to prevent the worst. But the Provincial Army doesn't exactly inspire confidence in their willingness to keep us safe, you know? If only this war would just be over and done with. I feel you. Thanks for the info, Margot. You be sure to watch her back, alright? Same to you two. Be careful out there. And, tomatoes do hot milk tea. Don't have much, so gonna pass on actually buying anything for now. Right, and next stop is near the market.
This is the Grand Market, huh? Pretty lively.
Not as lively as it was, though.
Yeah, this ain't the market I know.
So, ingredients. Hey, part 2 of the Gambler Jack. Always a good pick up a one, find one. Basic items. Sell a Supreme Latte and another ingredient. Sell luminescent glasses, marble bracelet. Coral bracelet and silver chain. I'll get accessories. Can't do anything there, so come on, we just want your company for a while. There's no need to resist, you pretty thing, you. We don't bite. My apologies, but I'm in the middle of doing some work for the church, and I happen to be underage too, so come on now, no need to be so quick to say no. Let's come to the guardhouse, pour us a few drinks, and you'll be fine. You really don't want to come with us, though. We do have other options open to us. Ew. You'd be surprised at how easy it is to bring a girl like you in. We don't even need a good reason to arrest you. But are these guys for real? There has to be a way to stop them. Hold up, let me handle this one. Goodness me, you wouldn't have to be soldiers from the provincial army, would you? Huh? Oh, lucky me. Couldn't have asked for better timing. See, I was kinda hoping for a teeny tiny favor from you guys. You. Beat it. Hey, we're all friends here, right? Here, let's roll out some introductions. Call me Phil. I'm just your average friendly contractor, looking for some good business partners, so to speak. After hearing about your valiant accomplishments during this war, I just knew I had to work with you directly. That's why I was kind of hoping you to put in a good word for me with the head honchos over at your guardhouse. Excuse me? And why wouldn't we ever do that for a lowly merchant? You sure you should be making that assumption? Could be missing out. I hate to brag, but my reputation's pretty up there. Who knows? Might even get your name out there for introducing me. Come on, don't let a guy down. Actually, here, maybe this'll help convince you. Toval slipped the soldier some mirror. Now, wait just a second. It's fine. Think of it as a little gift if you want. So what do you say, fellas? Good grief. Well, we've got no reason to turn this gift down. Phil, was it? I'll pass your name on, but I wouldn't hold my breath. That's what I like to hear. Wow. Ta-da! Color me impressed. Tell me though, where'd Phil come from? It's just one of the names I used to go by. But hey, I managed to sort that out nice and discreetly, right? Racers like you have definitely earned their name. Thanks for the help, Toval. I thought I was going to have to resort to force, but I'm glad you were able to resolve things without even having to reach for your weapon. No problem. Anyway, are you alright, sister? Yes, thank you very much for your help. Reen, what are you doing here? Rosine? Oh, another acquaintance of yours? Yeah, she's another first year like me. I'm glad to see you're safe and sound, Rosine. Likewise. You mind accompanying me to the church? Staying here for too long may draw unwanted attention. Sounds good to me. After you. And after they walked to the church, Reen took the time to explain how and why they were in Celtic. So, you're searching for the rest of Class 7. I can tell that you've been through some rather trying times. Well, I'm not the only one. Sounds like you had it rough, too. You and Becky escaped together, didn't you? I hear Hugo's the one who told you how, too. That's correct. Though we did end up splitting from him along the way. I've been taking shelter here ever since. All while praying as much as possible for everyone's safety. Any chance you've heard anything about the other students, or maybe even the academy itself? We're trying to figure out as much as we can. Unfortunately, I don't know anything. That's a shame. But the important thing is that you're safe. Actually, On that note, is the Provincial Army always that bad? Kinda messed up that they're getting flat out hammered in the middle of the day. Yeah, and pulling some really awful stuff on top of it, especially in regards to minors. It's a relatively common occurrence, yes. They'll often get drunk and start breaking things or take goods from people's stalls without paying. It's not as though the merchants can do anything to stop it either. Nobody wants to have their goods requisitioned. Sounds like the soldiers who aren't on the front lines have a lot of free time on their hands. Celtic hasn't been swept up into any battles so far, so yeah. Well, be sure to take extra care from here on out, Rosine. And make sure to give the soldiers a wide berth. Thank you for your concern. I'll be praying for you to be reunited with the rest of Class 7 soon. Thanks, that makes 2 of us. Right. Right, here we go. I think we've asked almost all of the townsfolk at this point. And yet, here we are with the zip for clues. You sure they're really here? I kind of find it hard to believe your friends have gone by without a single person noticing them. Malamar detected them, so they have to be somewhere in the area. If they're not here in town, then they're either on the highway or somewhere else in this general region, right? I hope they're holding up okay. Hey there, you two seem like you've got time to kill. How about picking up a copy of the Imperial Chronicle? The latest volume's got a boatload of handy information. And it comes at the low price of 100 Mira. Not bad, huh? We've got a pushy one here, don't we? Sorry, kid, but we're kinda busy at the moment. Whatever, just take one already. We're gonna regret it if you don't. I mean it. It's gonna be nothing but regret. Well, I guess it can't hurt, huh? Yeah, took Imperial Chronicle issue 2. Thanks. Sheesh, he really wanted that sale. Don't think I've ever seen someone that desperate to sell a newspaper before. He did have a point, though. Reading the newspaper is a great way to get a better idea of what's going on. True enough. Let's give it a read. Right, Breaking Noble Alliance forces keep winning. The Alliance's work to eliminate rebellious elements all over the country is proceeding smoothly. Very smoothly, in fact, with the latest official announcement reporting that 60% of the country is now under their control. One victory after another. I went to interview some of the soldiers on the ground in the Western Front about the ongoing battles. Standing in their base, it was easy to feel overwhelmed by the sight of countless soldats and state-of-the-art military airships lined up. I'd heard about how superior the Noble Alliance forces were to the rebels in terms of the quality and amount of weaponry and vehicles they have. But seeing them all in person, I finally understand all I'd heard was completely true. And the Noble Alliance are the rebels here. The Imperial family, as far as I can tell, the Imperial family is opposed to them. Especially as far as Princess Halfin is concerned. The commanding officer I spoke to had inspiring words about the war itself as well. The armored divisions of the former Imperial Army may have been elite, but they no longer have a good cause to fight for. Now they're simply a disorganized rabble. Furthermore, the beloved General Aurelia Le Guin and Brigadier General Wallace Bardius are both heroically fighting on the front lines with their armies at their side. Needless to say, morale is astonishingly high. We, however, do have a good cause to fight for, and because of that, the commanding officer continued, there is absolutely no chance we will be defeated. That's definitely not true. Predictions for the future. The Alliance forces seem to have every intention of following through on their mission to wipe out the rebels, but most of their numbers already defeated. The former Imperial Army soldiers remaining have spread throughout the land and in many areas are working with other rebels to worsen public order. I think I speak for everyone in saying that the complete elimination of such soldiers can't come soon enough. And it seems like the Imperial Chronicle has become a propaganda machine for the Noble Alliance. Society, former Governor Regnitz, formally arrested. The former Imperial Governor of Heimdall, Karl Regnitz, had already been apprehended on suspicion of treason, but he has now been arrested as a result of increasing evidence proving his guilt. His arrest means that now over 40 members of the Imperial government have been placed under arrest on charges of treason. Even the person leading the investigation was unable to hide his surprise at just how many rebels had been participating in government affairs unnoticed all this time. More Noble Alliance propaganda stuff. More and more members of the reformist faction being found to be guilty of similar charges. He wouldn't be surprised if he had plenty more to arrest in the days to come. Yep. Where deception and demonstrations. The Army's press office has words of caution in light of the alarming number of demonstrations and false reports spreading across the Empire of late. In her latest statement, they warned supporting the former Imperial Army or sympathizing with their actions both constitute as treason. For now, the best thing to do for now is to ignore such degenerates. That shit. This is being forced the Noble Alliance or a high-ranking number of the newspapers top brass is a member of the Noble Alliance and responsible for this. We sincerely trust that all of our readers will take heed of this advice and not pay attention to groundless rumors. The train and air travel update. Rail and air travel have gradually begun to resume as a result of the Noble Alliance's actions. However, the number of trains and airships in operation remain limited, and major inspections are being conducted at key stations in the interests of security. Passengers wishing to travel should expect delays. There is always the possibility that public transport will be halted again depending on future developments. Citizens who have peerages will have priority when purchasing tickets, allowing them to travel more easily. I wonder what they mean by that. The nobles. Here, certain members of the nobility will enjoy making use of this well-deserved service. And there goes all signs of subtext and subtlety. Even Marcus's dad has been arrested. So all of a sudden, the Imperial Army and all the high-ranking reformists are traitors, huh? The Imperial Chronicle's not even trying to be impartial these days. It's safe to assume the Alliance has complete control over it. Just as I was saying. Most likely, it looks like the Alliance is so sure of their victory, they're getting things ready for when the war's over. That's how to do it if you want things going your way. Want things to go your way. They're a cunning bunch. There's something stuck on the last page. Huh, you're right. A piece of paper. Is this a map? It looks that way, except for the Eastern Highway. But what's with all the random numbers and symbols on it? There's more stuff written on the back, too. The one who takes the queen holds the key to the king. Is this some sort of code? It's gotta be. Please tell me this isn't from who I think it is. It does resemble Phantom Thief B's usual weirdness. Except nothing's been stolen this time, so I doubt it's him. Actually, the symbols and the layout of the map reminds me of chess. What do you think, Toval? Chess. Maybe. It does look like a chessboard. But wait, that must mean... Let's assume that these colored letters each represent a different chess piece. In which case, the white Q must represent the queen. And there's the black B and P representing the pawn, well, the bishop and the pawn. Don't look at me. Don't know anything about the games you people play. All you need to know is that he's onto something. Assuming your theory's right, then solving the message written on the other side shouldn't be too hard. Yeah, hopefully. You want to head to the highway? It's the best lead we've got. In hand-drawn map. And this kid only sells the Imperial Chronicle. And already have a issue too, so don't need to actually buy it here. Right, go and rest up. Right, full health, full EP, and full CP. Now let's head on out to the East Highway. See it. Where need to go.
Okay, let's get looking.
I've got the map handy if you want to look up anything.
Now let's take a look. Yeah, it's this area, so where we need to go.
Now's our chance. Let's get him!
Ready to go.
Ripper squirrel. Go get
My turn.
analyzed.
Now's our chance. Gotcha. My turn. Now. Gotcha.
And Green's getting a
You're done.
bunch of crits here.
You nailed it, Reen.
Thanks. That was all you.
Oh, chest. I wonder what's inside.
Watch out. This is a tough one.
Here
we go.
Here, Zordar.
Disactivate.
You
Ready to go.
analyze you or not.
Here I go.
Right, try that again, but focusing on the Atarian.
I'm up.
Hey, let's try that.
Here you go.
Let's move.
Sure thing.
You have a slight weakness. One down.
Here I go. Ha!
Ready to go.
Just activate airstrike.
Here you go.
Screens down.
This ain't over yet.
Get him back up.
Thanks.
Crap. And finish.
Well, that's that.
Yeah, definitely get healed up. And just a silver earring. Head towards the highway.
Now's our chance. Let's get him.
Alright,
My turn.
double advantage.
Now.
Gotcha. Sure thing.
Activate. And hit both with the golden spear.
My turn. Okay, it's safe for now.
Green's getting his CV back up. A quick detour here.
Now's our chance. Let's get him. Here I go.
Fire weakness.
Now.
Gotcha. This strategy.
Ready to go.
Okay.
Activate. Here you
Go.
go.
Let's move.
Wait, one
Ready
down.
to go. Activate.
And for the
Here
airstrike.
you go. I'm up.
Here I go. Disactivate.
Fire. Bolt.
Huh.
Ready to go. Whew. Well, that's that.
Hey, level up Marine.
I did it. Sit. Sit.
Those. And windmill's locked. You should focus on figuring out that map for now. Yep. Nothing to worry about there. Tira bomb. Very nice. Right. Continue on.
Now's our chance. Let's get him!
Triple advantage
Here I go.
against one enemy.
Now's our chance. Gotcha.
You nailed it, Reem.
Thanks, but that was all you.
And just
This spot
didn't
looks perfect
stand
for
a
fishing.
chance.
This spot looks perfect for fishing.
There we go. Got the crab.
Caught one.
Great crab. CG recovery of fishing definitely helps as well. Not
Not
new
bad.
type of fish here, swordtail. Oh.
Caught one.
Right, and all done fishing. Huh. Chest. Obtained the old key. Here we go. Can't believe it. That message actually pointed us to a key. I figured this was the spot. First off, one who takes the queen referred to the bishop in a position to take the queen. And the location of the bishop's symbol on the map corresponds to right here. Oh, nice to see we're on the right track. Only question now is, where's the lock for this key? Note says it's the key to the king, but it doesn't mention where the king is. Hold on, there's another note in the chest. The king lurks within his fortress. Take him, and your path should be clear. More chest shenanigans, huh? It's not much different from the riddle we just solved. Yep, I don't see why it would be. Our goal this time is to take the king. All you have to do is figure out which piece on the map can accomplish that. And once we do, it's checkmate for our mysterious friend. Time to get our heads in the game. I actually know this one. The R would represent the rook, which can move at a straight line as far as there are openings. And wouldn't you know it, the rook is in position to take the king. And based on the position of rook on the map, It'd be that, windmill. The game, this would be check and mate. And hand drop and a map too. Hey, what do you look at that, huh? Amazing what, some, very, simple, knowledge, on chess, can accomplish. And went too far. No, you don't, Wolf. Safe to say that this is where that message was pointing to? Yeah, this has to be it. Locked. Let's try out that key we just found. And unlock the door using the old key. Bingo. That was easy. I'm betting the one responsible for the riddles is inside. Well, there's someone inside at any rate. I have my suspicions on who it is too. Ready to go in now? Yep. Let's not leave any cliffhangers here.
There you are.
Oh, I wasn't expecting this.
I knew it! Machias!
I knew you'd be able to solve my riddle. If anyone could, it's you. You look well, Reen. Whoa, Reen! Take it easy there.
I'm just so glad you're all right. When we parted that day, I honestly thought I would never get to see you again.
Come on, Reen. You haven't changed a bit. None of us had any intention of losing our lives in that battle. You knew that was true too, right? That's why you're here now, trying to find us.
Yeah, I suppose you're right.
Honestly, I wasn't sure if you were trying to hug me or mow me down at first. But I couldn't be more happy to see you again. Thanks for never giving up on us.
I think the tearful reunion's gone on long enough now.
Celine? Still a talking cat, I see. And I think I remember you. You're a bracer, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, that's right. They've been helping me out for quite a while now.
Good memory. We never really talked much when we met on the Courageous, did we? Name's Toval. Toval Rondenor. Mind filling us in on what you've been up to all this time? We'll tell you about what's been happening on our end, too.
Well, of course, you know everything up until you flew off aboard Valamar last month. No sooner had you left, did we receive some very unexpected help from none other than the Courageous. The Courageous, huh? Was Viscount Arsada on board? Yeah. You were dead set on fighting the Azure Knight no matter what the consequences. If doing so meant our deaths, I think we were ready to accept that. Before we could even make that choice, we suddenly heard a booming voice from up above. It shouted, now is not your time to fall with honor in battle, not when you have dreams left to fulfill. flee and live to fight another day. It was the voice of none other than Viscount Arcade. That does sound like him. Yeah, that it does. We did hesitate at first, but then we resolved to take his advice and escape. Thanks to the courageous drawing his attention, we were able to avoid being pursued by the Azure Knight, and splitting into 3 groups, we fled from Trist as fast as we could. Do you have any idea what happened to the courageous after that? I'm afraid not. It flew off with the knight in pursuit. I haven't seen or heard from it since. I hope everyone on board is alright. We were talking about the Radiant Blade Master. I'd be more worried for the Azure Knight. Probably. So you escaped to Celtic? Essentially. I managed to escape with Fee and Elliot. Not sure how the others were split up, though. Really? They're here too? Well, they're out at the moment, but yes. The market manager in Celtic proposed we use this windmill as a hideout, so we've been staying here the past month. It's been enough to help us look into a way to turn this country around, as well as try to find any information that we could that would lead us to you. Well, you found me. Sounds like you 3 have been busy. Look who's talking. Can't imagine going through what you did, then seeing your sister and Princess Alphen taken from you like that. Know that none of us would hesitate for a second to help you rescue them. Thanks, Machias. I appreciate it. Hey, so you were the one who made up those riddles, right? Was the kid selling us the newspaper in on it? You're correct on both counts. We received a report from a reliable source in town that said someone resembling Reen had been spotted. I could have probably chosen a simpler method to get your attention, but what's done is done. Only you would make us run around solving a riddle using chess metaphors. You sure this isn't Phantom Thief B's influence rubbing off on you? Okay, less probably and more definitely should have chosen a simpler method. Regardless, I can hardly wait to tell Elliot and Fee that you're safe. They'll be overjoyed as I was once they find out. Do you know where they went? Yeah, they're trying to find a way to head farther east along the border with the crossbow. We want to go to what remains of Corellia Fortress. Corellia Fortress? Oh yeah, Margo did say there were soldiers from the Imperial Army over in that area. Yeah, they're using the proving ground near where the fortress used to be as a base at the moment. Specifically, Lieutenant General Craig's division is stationed there. Fourth Armored Division? Well, you couldn't ask for a better last line of defense. You're trying to get in contact with them, right? Precisely. We believe that might help us find some way to turn things around. And while they're out, I'm staying here and providing backup while acting as a liaison. It shouldn't be long before they give their next periodic update. We can apprise them on the situation and arrange to meet when they do. Got it. I guess we'll have some free time until then. Know if there's anything more we can do around here? I'd hate to sit and do nothing. How about we head back to the town? I want to have a good look at the surrounding area and see if there's any info I can pick up. Yeah, that sounds like an excellent idea. Let's head to Celtic. And Machias has joined the party. And Rean and Machias can now use Overdrive when linked with one another. As for Machias, let the Iron Master Quartz, higher remaining HP, less damage received. That's nice. EP 1 increases max EP by 100. Hit 1, accuracy plus 50%. Very good for him. Defense 1, plus 25 defense. Shield Breaker. Attacks and crafts have a 10% chance to lower target's defense by 25%. Hearts, Needle Shot, and Crest. So those from Iron. Stick Earth Lance there. And set Machias up with the remaining quartz. Only link level 2 between them. Yeah, well. I think now that I'll get first up. Yeah, go and grab it. The DLC things Machias grab that for 12 volt. Don't forget about it. Let's go and check out the Machias' costumes. Yeah, good there. And now that party's up to 3 again with the Machias reunited. Rean, I'm gonna go ahead and call it there. Oh, on Tuesday, ain't it? Continue with Act 1. And what we can do about reuniting with Elliot and Fee. See you guys then. Later.